Alrighty guys, welcome. How are we all doing, guys? Hope you're all well. Welcome, ready for another big week on the charts. It's time to get this show on the road. Guys, as always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, you cheeky buggers. Got to tell me that the clocks have changed over in the UK over the weekend. But all good. Found out when I came to the charts, as I normally do, I realized that there was still an extra hour or so for me to go. So all good. Just realized it, and yeah, so bit of a later start for me than usual, but I'll have to get used to it, won't I? So nonetheless, hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you're all fresh and ready to go. Another big week on the charts. Let's quickly take a look at the news. Now, there is not really much in regards to anything today in terms of news. We've got let's just have a look at it moving forward into NY session. There's nothing as well into NY session. Moving forward into the week, we've got some high impact news to come. Tuesday, it gets a bit confusing because it says Wednesday my time, but it's Wednesday morning, but that's obviously Tuesday evening for the US dollar. And then some more with obviously the first week of the new month, so ADP, NFP, big week ahead for the US dollar. But anyway, guys, if you have not already done so, please be sure to hit that like button. Please be sure to say g'day. Let me know how you're all going. And without further ado, let me have a look at the charts, and we'll start, as always, we'll have a look at GJ. I'll take a look at gold, and then we'll move our attention over to Great British Pound CAD for a bit and see how that is as well. So without further ado, guys, let's take a look at GJ. And once again, starting in the weekly time frame, what we can see is we've opened up without a lower wick. Just gonna kill the music a little bit more. So a lot of strength in the current weekly candle. Obviously, off the bat, the first day, pulling up towards the highs of this resistance here to the left. That is a significant level, because if we do close above this point here, structure will flip bullish on the daily. So we need a daily close above that point there to technically flip the structure bullish, and which then could lead to a deeper correction up to over that 200 flat level. So technically we are bearish in structure, but we do have daily counter probabilities to the upside at a very strong level of resistance onto the 4-hour time frame, and we can see that is also still, that remains bearish. That exact same point as the daily is where the 4-hour will technically flip structure bullish. This is the one impulsive leg to the downside. We've not had any two or more consecutive candle pullback in any of this move to the downside, which created the lowest point of the downtrend. Therefore, until we close above that exact same level as the daily on the 4-hour, we will remain bearish. So once again, we can see bearish on the 4-hour, and we are at the resistance. Now I'm going to mark in, for the time being, just going to mark in these lows as support. The zone to the upside, I'm marking it on a 30 because I will have to adjust it, but we are obviously at the resistance, as we can see on the 4-hour. Above it, it is quite clean to the left hand side. So the 30-minute, now the 30-minute structure is technically, drag this along a bit, it's technically bullish. Now where it will flip bearish is below that point there. So all right, so let's just mark in the resistance to begin, and then we'll talk about our potential options moving forward into London session. So I'm just going to mark in the highest point, going to incorporate the high, so it is the high for 4-hour. We'll mark it in gray, and we'll shift it back across. So that is the resistance to the upside. Now within the current daily candle, what we have done is we've created that impulse to the upside. We've created a high, higher low, higher high. If we begin to come back down to that support and retest 198, 120, and want to see price form support back above it, provide my signal within price action to look for a potential buy. At that point there, not only will we be respecting the structure, we'll be respecting a support formed on the way to the upside, and we'll also at that point there, any support that we've created on the way up, as long as it's respected, there is not necessarily much of a need for us to pull back down to create that lower wick on the weekly time frame. It's still a chance that it obviously could do so, but for the time being, we're obviously bullish, and we are potentially forming a support just now. So the next 3 and a bit minutes, what I can do is, I might just do it now actually, marking that support. Now, let's also what we've done, so we've just created the high, we've also created a low, lower high, pretty much a low equal low just now. Either way, on the way on the most recent pullback from the 4-hour resistance, we have formed minor resistance around that 199 flat level. So therefore, if we were to continue bearish, there is not much of a need for us to pull up, break above, close above. And if we do so, at that point there, I feel there's a high probability we will continue to the upside. So long as we have the margin, there's not a great deal of margin within that minor range. However, if we do have the margin on a closure above that 199.17, then also closing above its psychological round number, then we're likely at that point there to retest the highs of the current daily and the 4-hour resistance. So I'd be considering the buys above that point there. Now let's move on to the 15-minute time frame. I just want to have a look at something. We've got some 15-minute support just here, so I'm just inclined to to pull that down a little bit lower. Now below it, it's pretty clean traffic to the left. Below it, at that point there, there has a high probability that we will come back down to retest the support here around that 198.10. So potentially, guys, seeing the bias is technically neutral at the moment. We've got the 30-minute and the weekly is bullish, the daily and 4-hour structure at resistance being bearish. If we were to yet again reject and start to pop below his 15-minute support, so long as we have the margin yet again, I would at that point there consider looking for potential sells to take it back down towards 198, 120. Just going to remove that zone to the downside. And so long as we respect that support and 198.10, like I said, if you can looking for the buys, we're still going to be bullish in structure on the 30-minute time frame. So there we have it, guys. That is the analysis on GJ. Look, we'll see if we can get some opportunities to sell it from below 199 flat, but it's highly unlikely. We likely won't have the margin to do so, but we'll keep a bit of an eye on that. Otherwise, at the moment, the focus is more on the buy options on GJ, but we'll see what we can come up with closer to session open. All right, guys, hopefully that made sense. If it does, make sure to hit the like button, let me know, and I will get to you guys shortly. If anyone has questions, if anyone has charts, as always, feel free to send those in. If anyone would like me to have a look at any particular pairs, feel free to ask. I'm the only streamer that will actually look at it without you sending me a chart beforehand. So anyway, guys, let's now take a look at the gold. The gold, oof, limit orders tapping into resistance. Anyway, I haven't done the analysis, so let's go ahead with that. Looking at gold on the weekly time frame, and that is a very strong bullish candle in my opinion. So strong bullish in a weekly, obviously got the high low high high. Now what I'd usually do in this situation is marking a 50% of that previous weekly candle, and what I like to see is if we do pop down to it, I want to see support form above it and buys to defend that level if we were to continue to the upside. So we'll mark it in, but we'll likely be removing it. We've obviously popped below it, but we're now popping back above it. Got no data to the left. Obviously we're at all-time highs. The daily, the previous daily closed with no upper wick. The amount of times I see this happen when the following candle, irrespective of the time frame, whether it be the minor time frames or the higher time frame, the amount of times I see the following candle is pop straight in the opposite direction. I mean, it happens quite regularly. It's obviously happened yet again, but we are technically bullish in structure, as we can see on the daily time frame. Still at that resistance, which is that all-time high. Onto the 4-hour. And the 4-hour, we are bearish. I'm calling it bearish. Excuse me. But we're now, obviously we've got counter probabilities to the upside. We know the overall higher time frame picture is very bullish either way. So irrespective of the bias and the structure on the minor time frames, I could still always, I'm going to trust the buys. I'm not against any buys at all. I prefer the buys, in fact. But anyway, that is the 4-hour time frame. We can see we've popped back above the 50% of that previous daily candle. So let's just mark in the weekly candle. Sorry, let's just mark in the support. Resistance, we'll mark something in on the M30. But obviously, fair long rejection wick in the current 4-hour, pulling back quite significantly within it. So we're just going to remove the 50%. As we can see, we've got support just below it. Okay, on to the 30-minute time frame. I've just used that will be my zone for the time being. So the 30-minute, we've just recently formed a resistance. Now change that to blue. The structure itself is still, but technically bearish, guys. From this big move from the upside from the all-time high to the lows, anything in between right now is just micro trend. We are technically bearish, so therefore the bias is technically neutral on gold. Obviously what I can see is we've just recently formed resistance. We are technically bearish in structure. What confirmations do we have? Well, sells are looking pretty good, guys. The new candles just open up, the new alley. If it was to break the low of the previous candle, seeing we are technically bearish in structure, we've got a 15-minute engulfing candle, we've got a pretty strong bearish 30-minute candle. I feel it's a high probability that we could get in some sell options if the candle was to begin to flip and break the low of the previous candle. Based off that catalyst, the 15-minute catalyst, closing M30 bearish. Now, if we did form a bit of minor support here in the next 12 and a bit minutes, that's fine. I can still look for a potential sell below the support. Otherwise, what I'd be looking at gold is buys above the resistance. We did begin to pop back above it. Obviously, looking for the sells anywhere below it if it provides my signal within price action. And I'll also be looking for potential buys from further down, guys. If it does pop back down to this 4-hour support, only to respect it, then I'm going to be looking for my price action catalyst for potential buy. Further sell options from higher up. Obviously, we are technically bearish in structure on the minor time frame, so I can still sell it from higher up. But at this rate, let's quickly look at the hourly as well. The hourly was a bullish candle, long rejection, rejecting that previous support here to the left hand side. Just trying to gather confluence to look for a sell. Now, this candle is pulling back quite significantly into the previous candle, which would suggest there is quite a bit of strength still to the upside. So what we could probably do at the moment is mark in 50%, and if we start pumping above it, then what I'm likely going to do is wait for this candle to close. I'll wait at least 15 minutes again for a minor support, and if we do form that minor support, so we're starting to pop above it. So if we form that minor support just here, potentially in the next M15, I can look for a sell option. I'm not going to take it if it flips just now, because of the fact we've pulled back, I feel a little bit too far if we were to continue bearish off the bat, off the EU open candle. So I'm just going to wait a little bit. So potentially in 11 minutes, guys, we could have an option to sell it, and we could have an option to also buy it if it does begin to pop above the resistance here and close above it. That will be a catalyst to look for a buy option. Today's goal, let's just set an alert, and hopefully that made sense, guys. Let's quickly look at GJ yet again. All right, on to GCAD. So GCAD, I'm not going to spend much time on it. I'll just use the drawing markup I sent into the members group. It is just consolidating. What we do have is, I'll just remove the drawings quickly. The weekly was a weak bearish candle. Suggest we grab liquidity from the downside. This previous resistance, we've done so twice. Past 2 weekly candles, leaving long wicks to the downside, rejecting the same level, which was that previous resistance. The daily structure is technically bearish at resistance. So again, at a key level on the daily time frame. 4 hours also bearish. We'll just pull up the drawings now, and again rejecting resistance. So the bias is bearish, 30-minute is bullish, so therefore off the back of the 30-minute, if we remain bullish, come back down to this support, then there's going to be options to buy it. But it's just consolidating right now. So what it really needs to do in this situation, in my opinion, is make a clear move to cut through this mess, whether it be to the upside or the downside. If it's to the downside, look for my potential support, or look for my potential catalyst upon support forming, or to the upside, look for a catalyst for a potential sell option. Otherwise, buys above the high into clean traffic to the left. That is GCAD. Things are moving a bit, which is good. I'll keep an eye on gold on my MetaTrader, and we'll watch GJ for a bit. I can see gold is just still forming quite bullish. Meantime, guys, don't be shy to say g'day. Who we got here today? Carl, good morning to you. Hope you're well. Franco, good morning, brother. Suman, Elias, good to see same names, familiar names. Luke, as always, hope you're well. Joe, hope you're well, brother. Daniel, good morning to you, my friend, and anyone else out there. Welcome, welcome, guys. Excuse me. Well, good morning to you, Rick, Sharif. Welcome, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Members, let me sort you guys out. Beats, Voyager, good morning to you, mate. Griff, NFP week, yep, it's a big week. First week of the month. The first Friday of the new month. Michael, good day to you, mate. Hope you're well. Swift, DSD week. They're like, is that standard time? I think election in Japan. What is, excuse my ignorance, I don't know what you mean by DSD unless, I'm not sure, mate. Remember, I'm a simple Aussie bloke, so. No, same, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, it's a bit of a bugger for me because now London opens 7 PM, so I had to have dinner before the stream today, so something I got to get used to. Change in time. Mr. Phil, good morning to you. Good to see a lot of the members are up and about early. Good, smash the like button, guys. That'd be much appreciated. Let's see on GJ. So we're starting to pop up. That's good. We're respecting support, or we bounced. Create support. Nice strong closure in the previous candle. Not enough margin to take a buy off the back of that candle. Nor is there really any sort of strong enough catalyst. So you want to think of nothing, guys. I'm in a world of pain at the moment. Back at the gym over the weekend and today. I got delayed onset muscle soreness. Oh god. Started back on a creatine. Be right soon. Get the blood pumping. Build those muscles. Rick smash, thank you. Let's see GJ trying to continue to the upside. Had a good session yesterday with the members, sim session. And we've got an educational session after, not long after the stream today, where I'll be discussing how we can use the FIP in our analysis, and also as confluence and a confirmation to validate entries. So that should be an interesting one. All right, let's look at gold. So, I mean, this is one instance where we can use the fib, guys. Now, whether it be on a 30 or the 15, it would suffice right now on a 15. Reason being is because we've got prior to it a 30-minute candle closing bearish. So we've got confirmation of resistance. So now how I can use the fib in this instance is mark it in, gauge the strength of this candle, mark in at 50%, or should be the other way around, the 38.2. And closures below, preferably at 38.2, will mean it's a weak closure, and then impulse entries could be valid. We could get a live example potentially. Wow, look at NASDAQ. Ooh, just noticed that. Is that floating near all-time highs again? It is too. Wow. To be honest, I'm not in any stocks at the moment. I'm hesitant. I feel there's going to be a big crash. Shrif, will you be looking at key levels on the Fibonacci? Well, not so much. I mean, for me, the key levels are the 50 and 0.38. So it just depends which way you have it around, and 0.618, I suppose. But I mean, it's something we can discuss, but it's not like I enter when price taps into that level, if you know what I mean. It's more it's a gauge the strength of candles. That's how I use it more than anything. Actually, I just thought of another one. Well, there was 4 ways, but there's actually 5. But again, I'll keep that for you guys. I'll keep that for the VIP guys a bit later on. Alright, so GJ, now the 15 minutes about to close. Let's just measure this. It's not yet closed above. Gonna be a pretty wide stop base of the 15. And way of rejection just now, I'd definitely be more comfortable waiting for a 30-minute closure above this resistance, above the 30-minute resistance, or if nothing else, very close to the high. Very close to the high. And again, this is when, guys, we can use the fib. If need be, I might use it closer to the closure of the 30-minute candle, just to gauge whether I feel it's a strong enough confirmation, strong enough closure to look for impulse entries on the following candle. Gold, the 15 is closing, and we're closing too strong of a bullish candle, so therefore if we did begin to reject now on a new 15, there'd be no impulse entries for me to the downside off the back of the strength of that candle. My rules would suggest now I need to wait for another candle to close, and I need to close definitely engulfing the bodies of the candle to the left, the bullish candle, preferably engulfing the whole candle itself. But as long as it engulfs the body, I could have a valid entry on the next candle. Now, if the 30 ends up popping up and closing right up near the high, we could have potential options for a buy on the next M30 candle. So 15 more minutes, guys, and we could have some options. JJ rejecting. That was the weekend, ladies and gents. Hopefully it was a good one. Joe, how about gold week bearish close on M30? Yeah, that's fine. That's also fine. 100%. That is, again, that is probably the third option. So you've got the engulfing, you got the 15-minute engulfing, you got the strong 15-minute engulfing the body, if it's not engulfing the lowest point. And the other option is a weak bullish closure in the M30. That would mean at that point they would form minor support. Still in technically bearish on a 30-minute time frame. So therefore, if it did begin to break the low of that minor support, in my opinion, is high probability that it could continue to the downside. So that also could be a shout. Yes, that's something I will keep a bit of an eye on. So we could get some options, guys. It's looking pretty good. We've got to wait just over 10 minutes. But both GJ and gold looking quite promising at the moment. I like the way price action is moving and developing. So just have to wait just over 10.5 minutes.
Hey, good morning, man.
How are you, brother?
I'm okay, thank you. Had a lazy weekend. How about you?
That's, well, nothing wrong with a lazy weekend. Yeah, I had anything but it's all good. I had my time away, so can't really complain, mate. But otherwise, everything's a-okay, so
That's good to hear.
that's it, mate. What are you looking at today?
Yeah, HU, but I'm a little bit struggling. I post my analysis to
Oh, okay, yep.
the group.
Let me have a look at it. I'll just pull it up.
Yeah. So it's a little bit difficult. So
Yeah, it's very choppy to the upside.
yeah.
It is bearish.
So I'm a little bit bearish, but right now we are coming to the weekly open, and maybe I see some buys there. But it's, for me, it's very, yeah, correct. But correct. I see if I look to the top, Justin. For me, normally the structure should be bullish when I look on the top, because when I look then on the left side, which are marked the 4-hour resistance, we close a little bit, correct? We close a little bit higher than on the left side, the former resistance H4, correct? It's exactly. That's okay. Then my understanding is correct at the end. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, muted, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not looking to take gold on the flip. I'm waiting for what I mentioned before, either whether it be the 15-minute engulfing the body or engulfing that candle itself, or the weak pause on the 30-minute, a weak bullish candle closure, and then break of minor support. That's what I'm waiting for at this rate. If it does close significantly below, I can look for a limit order sell. So I'm just waiting just over 6 minutes. Goldman, GJ, any view? You definitely got a view on GJ. Buys above that resistance. Now it's made a pretty clean move up, so I mean the buys from back at support again would be valid if it did create another pullback. And the structure is bullish in the M30. I'm doubting the sells at the moment, to be honest. Within this, from this resistance, we'll wait and see. Yeah. Gotta wait 5.5 minutes on gold. It's over 5.5 minutes. Well, the flip would have worked, that's for sure. All good. I can still get limit order potentially. So that's my next option at the moment. First of all, it has to close engulfing and has to close at least 8 pips below that bullish candle low. If it does so, then I will set a limit order sell back below that bullish candle or the following candle. This candle has to close, if that's 14, has to close at 34. Has to close below 27.39.34, and then it could be a valid limit order sell. What that would do is that will give me a much tighter stop loss as well, getting an added discounted rate after a confirmation, a strong confirmation of the engulfing candle wiping out that previous bullish candle. Wow, this is melting, isn't it? Joe, am I worried about the slight resistance left on gold? Not at all. Look at it. Look what it's doing right now. It's absolutely bursting through that level either way. So, yeah, it's there. It's something maybe you can be wary of, but in my opinion, like I mentioned many times, and we've wiped through that with this move up, cut straight through it, and right now it's just slicing through it on the way down. It is, to me, it's not really that relevant. But I need this thing to pop up a bit. I'm not going to limit order sell if this is like 40, 50 pips below the entry point. So around 20, 25 pips is probably the max I'd want it to close below. See, DJ looks to be rejecting as well. Let's just zoom in on this. Alright, just under 2 minutes. Gold looks like it's going to close a little bit too far. Goldman GJ, in my view, first fill gap at open, then up. Gap area. It could do that. Yeah, it could potentially do that. But if it respects any support formed in the meantime on the way to the upside, doesn't necessarily need to do that. So, but most definitely it could. All right, this is about where we want gold to close. Oh man, all good. I know when I used to trade crypto, they obviously that was something that was of the belief that gaps always got filled. Alright, so potentially going to be looking at limit order sells in gold, guys. The entry will be the low of that bullish candle. Stop loss will be above the high of that bearish candle. Be great if it did pull back a bit though, because now we're over 30. We're now 30 pips below the entry point. This is a bit better. All right, gonna place it, but that's highly unlikely it's going to tag us in. To be honest, it's closed that far below, and if it flips and breaks the low, then forget about it. It's not valid. Continuation sells, I wouldn't trust it with a 9 pip stop loss. The only option is to use the entry candle. GJ has closed pretty strong bearish. All right, GJ sells a potential right now, guys. Off the back of that closure, you'd be looking at potential entries just below the previous candle's low. About 50. So I've got an order at 50. 198,750. That's what I'm currently looking at, GJ. 198,750. Gold, you can remove the order. It's broken a low. Now it's not valid. It's no longer valid. So gold, continuation for anyone that's in it, your stop loss would have to be above the entry candle. It's a bit tricky. But anyway, looking at potential GJ entries, guys. Let's see. Joe, yeah, just obviously just no. So this is fine because shouldn't be in yet. Shouldn't have been tagged in. It pulls back a bit more now. It's creating a bit more of an upward. That's fine. It broke its own low again. There's a high probability at that point there that it will make a move to the downside. Got about 17.5 pips as your margin, so potential there. I can just remove that goal. Now, gold created a bit more of a deeper upper wick and then began to break its own low again. It's also not a bad entry in my opinion. You'd have to use the entry candle as your stop loss. Anyway, GJ, it looks like it may trigger in shortly, so it's going to focus on that. So that's the other option is gold if it broke its own low again. That's the other option, guys. Those interested. The good thing is, GJ, things pulled back to make a deeper upper wick. There's ways to manage this trade. If it gets triggered in, if it broke its own high again, you could consider cutting half, or you can consider cutting the whole thing. Because as soon as it has that broken its own low again, after pulling back to create a deeper upper wick, then really, at that point, there is not much need for it to continue. If it was to continue bearish, for it to pop back up and break its own high. Now, remember guys, the structure is technically bullish on the 30-minute time frame. So it is a bit of a risk, that's for sure. You're trading against the 30-minute structure, but what you do have is price rejecting the most recent resistance formed on the move to support. You could argue you've created a lower low. You could argue you've created a lower high just here. You've got the higher time frames as bearish. You're rejecting a 4-hour resistance at these highs, so I think it's enough confluence to look for this potential entry. You got a very strong closure on the 15 as well. Let's see, is it going to trigger in? Yeah, I'm in. Now I'm just going to move the stop loss to just above the entry candle. I'm going to shift it to $8.65. So we've got that lower high, lower low. We've broken our own candles low after creating a lower wick, popping back up, create a deeper upper wick. There is not much need for us to pull back and break our own high again if we were to continue bearish. So at that point there, I probably wouldn't want to be in the trade any longer. And at that point, I would have also mitigated my risk by about half of what I initially had on the table. So it's just an example of how I go about managing trades. So let's see. And if it flipped back bullish, then I'll just cut half, if not the whole thing. Got 5 pips on the table. There we go. All right, gonna get to break even. That's 7 pips on the table. There you go. There's your 10. All right, I'm closing 80%, and there's your job done. Nice and easy. Well done, guys. Easy does it. Good way to start the week. So, job done, guys. Well done. And it is rocking and rolling. So, well done. Hopefully, you guys took it. And that's how we roll. We keep the winning going on this channel. Eventually, the numbers will also reflect that. So, well done, guys. Well done. Looking good. The target for me, I wouldn't be greedy because we are approaching support. You've got over 12 pips on the table just now. Consider securing something if you've not already done so. Nothing else gets break even, and job done on a Monday. Good work. Nice work, guys. Anyone else take it other than Joe and myself? Luke, thank you very much. Luke, nice one. Rick, good work, mate. Anyone else? Anyone else? Show of hands. I think everyone buggered off after it. 20 of you on stream. Hopefully half of you took it. Daniel, nice one. All right. Goldman, nice one. Zoomin, nice one. So good start to the week. All right. So anyway, let's see. What now do we need more? What would validate a gold entry now moving forward? Well, wow, look at that. It's almost tapping into that bullish candle low. Way too late in the candle for the limit order, in my opinion. The reason being is because this candle looks like it may close in the next 4 minutes. A pretty strong bullish candle. So what I'd be concerned about is the new 15-minute candle could open up, create a lower wick, break the high of that previous candle, then we could end up back at the resistance. So I wouldn't be trusting the limit order. If anyone is still holding on to that pending order, it's up to you, but personally I wouldn't be holding on to it. So what could validate another entry is, once again, very similar thing, a weak pause, a really weak pause, a weak bearish bullish candle closure on the 15 or the 30, and it could be sell options below it. That is potential for gold, sorry. GJ, now it's just a matter of waiting to see how price reacts to resistance. Funny, you're taking winner, now there's no one on stream. That's 57th win for the stream. Okay, nice call. Cheers, mate. Don't think you were taking it. You know, I'm assuming you didn't take it because you don't often trade GJ. So I'm at my view. GJ touch 19750 and buy up 19750. So retest the open, and potentially it could happen. So you're anticipating it's going to fill that gap, form support. It is very strong level of support, that's for sure. Fair way to go, and we've got a fair bit of support to breach before getting to that level. However, it is a possibility, that's for sure. So for me, what I'd be looking at though personally, if you are to look for the buys from lower down, if that's what you're anticipating, then what we've got in between is we've got support at this point here. We've got support at this point here. So therefore, in my opinion, it will make sense if price was to break, close below it, tap in, reject, to take a potential sell in anticipation price is going to come back down to the next line of support. Same as this point here. At this particular support, what we're going to do is flip the structure bearish on the 30-minute upon a closure below this bullish candle wick. So if price did close below it, retest, reject, then I feel there's a really high probability that we're going to come back down to 197.50 and create the lower wick on a new weekly, where, like you mentioned before, there could be options to buy it from lower down off the back of price being at a strong support. As so long as you got your price action catalyst to look for a potential buy, that would make sense. So yeah, I feel it's a good plan. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good plan. I just feel there could be options in between. And it could be options in between for a buy, but by all means, if that's your plan, you stick to your plan. I just appreciate the support, my friend. So all right, gold forming pretty strong bullish candle on this 15 minutes. So there is, in my opinion, no option to look for a sell, nor is there one to look for a buy at this point. Goldman, one question: why would yen pairs fly rocket? No news. Is there something maybe coming out of the Bank of Japan though? Something said. Yen weakness. Yen weakens. Japan stocks face pressure on election block to LDP. Yen fell 3-month low. Japanese stocks were set to slip Monday after the Liberal Democratic Party and its coalition partner were dealt a heavy, assuming it says blow. Yeah, so something to do with I think, didn't they have a change in government not that long ago? I think your old leader resigned. So yeah, I wasn't even sure that they've got elections. It could be off the back of that, to be honest. Forex isn't de-dollarizing anytime soon. Tell you what, it's going to shake things up, that's for sure. GJ still in. I've still got 12 pips on the table, and my full TP is, I'm not greedy. I'm just targeting that 520 level, to be honest. Okay, thanks for that related election. Possibly Rick G pound 15-minute candle per week. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm very close to hitting full TP either way. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm gonna take a tiny bit more. I cut 8%, to be honest. I took the majority off the table either way at just at 10, right on 10. But yeah, I would consider it because it could obviously pull back, create the upper wick. And it is a narrow range, don't get me wrong. We were just trading based off price action and we had enough margin, but ideally what you want is to have more than just, you know, 15-20 pip margin. Most ranges you want to have at least 30 or so, and you want it to be clean. In this instance, price action was, I mean, for me, it was a clear-cut catalyst to look for an option to sell it. Also, the fact that we rejected that most recent resistance formed on the way down, creating that low. So that was pretty, just based off price action, it was a valid entry, knowing I didn't have that much margin. So therefore I don't go for a home run. I don't just set a TP at 198 or lower. I mean, if that's your plan, you're into day trader or whatever, and you're going to manage it, or you're looking for the wider you know, targets, then by all means, you got a wider stop loss, so you're probably using a smaller lot size as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But yeah, for me, it's a narrow range, so I'm just gonna target the 520 is my target. Oh, close this again. Oops, excuse me guys. That's it. Right, there we go. Closing it on full TP. So I've got it higher up. I don't have it there, guys. You know, I'm just going to close it all anyway because it's at support. So I've closed full. It was 17 pips in the end, so not a bad result. Good start to the week. Close full, Rick. Yeah, I think it's a good idea because it's at support, and it is technically bullish in a 30-minute time frame. You've got the daily and the weekly higher highs, higher lows to the previous candles already. So yeah, and upper wick. Yep. So it could continue, and that's fine. That's fine because again, I'm not looking to intraday trade this to keep it for a swing or anything. I'm looking to get in, get out, get my profits, and you know, be done over Monday. Bits Voyager, nice one. Zoom in, great. Nice one, guys, well done. Gold, a lot of strength now on gold, a lot of volume. Buyers stepping back in. Gold is doing his 30. It's all good, not bust. Yeah, not a worry at all. Just keep a bit of an eye on it, but for now it's not, in my opinion, tradable. We're below the resistance, so it needs to pop above it to start considering buys. And obviously at this rate, it's forming it too strong of a bullish candle to consider any sells if the following candle did begin to break the low of this candle, now potentially confirming support yet again. Rick, smash a like for the win trade. Yeah, would be nice. Would be nice, guys, if you have not done so. We had more on stream in the first 10-15 minutes than what we do now. They're all good. Once again, it won't be long until they figure out where it's at. Feel free, guys, if you got any requests, any charts, any pairs, do throw them at me. I'm happy to take a look at them for you. We've got right on 6 minutes until session open. GJ bouncing off that support, so it was a good exit in my opinion. EU, not a problem, mate. I'll have a look at EU. Alright, so let's do some quick top-down analysis on EU, and starting the weekly, and it is a very strong bearish candle on the weekly time frame. You close above that wick though, to the left-hand side. Now, what I'm going to do is mark in 50% using a fib, and I want to see what's at that level, and I want to see the sellers step back in, defend that level, and price remains below it, and that point that could potentially be the highest point of the new weekly candle. In order for price to grab some more liquidity, more volume from the market before it heads back down in line with that previous bearish candle, below the low, there's likely going to be some nice options for continuation sells as well. It's a strong bearish off the weekly. Daily structure is technically bearish as well. We've got the previous daily closing a strong bearish candle. However, what we can see is the current daily has basically tapped into the support here to the left hand side and is bouncing off it. It is now breaking its own high yet again by the looks of it. So at a strong level, it's at a support on the daily time frame, but we are technically bearish with lower highs, lower lows. The 4 hour, ooh, I'm gonna argue it's bullish because it's closed above the actual bearish candle. It's pretty much closed above that weak bullish candle as well. So I'd argue the 4 hour its structure is bullish. So we've got the weekly bearish, we've got the 4 hour, daily bearish, we've got the 4 hour bullish, marking some levels. And let's go down to the M30. All right, so the 30-minute is definitely, or potentially in the next 3 and a bit minutes, flipping bullish. So if that is to be the case, so let's just mark in resistance. Now I'm going to incorporate that candle to the left there. Now if price was to close above technically that horizontal, the 30-minute will be flipping bullish, bouncing off a daily support as well. You've got the weekly as bearish, you got the daily structure as bearish, you got the 4 hour and the M30 potentially as bullish. So based off that, if price was to close above, but one thing you got to think about too, guys, is the fact that we've come from the lows of the day and there's been no real exhaustion. It's been pretty much just straight push up to above the resistance. So what I ideally like to see in this situation is I want to see price trigger in some sellers at this point. And if we were to close back, for instance, a weak bearish candle, potentially on the next 15-minute candle into session open, then as price begun to break the high of that candle and bounce off this previous resistance to the left, I would trust that in line with the momentum, in line with the volume, in line with the catalyst on that previous 30 flipping bullish. As price begun to break that 30-minute candle's high, there'd be a high probability that we would continue to the upside. Now, that's what I'd be looking for as far as the buy options. Otherwise, if it just takes off just now, then you're best just to wait for it to pull back to look for your potential buys. Aside from that, what I'd be looking for is looking next 2 minutes. If it did reject, you could have potential sell options, and off the back of the previous weekly, off the back of the fact the daily is bearish and you have the daily counter probabilities to the downside, lower high, lower low. If price was to now eventually reject and form a support at around that previous resistance, only to start closing below it, we can see we've made a very clean move up to that 180 level. If price was to start to close back below that 108 flat, retest that resistance and begin to pull away from it, I feel it'd be a high probability at that point there that you could get options to take a sell all the way back down potentially. So that's what I'd be looking for just now. A bit of some sort of exhaustion if you are to look for continuation buys. Otherwise, let it form support at the previous resistance, start to pop below that support, and then you could have options to potentially sell it. That's what I'd be looking at on EU. But thank you for your request. Saw that green line, I was wondering. Yeah. Gold, let's quickly look at it. Yeah, it's still a little bit strong. Still a little bit strong by the looks of it.
Hey guys.
Good morning to you, my friend. How are you?
Doing alright. How about you?
That's good. Yeah, good, mate. Been a good start. So, yeah, can't complain.
That's nice.
How about yourself? What are you looking at?
I'm looking at buying GU.
Looking at buying GU?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. It's closing above resistance. That actually looks pretty good. Here, it's potentially flipping bullish. Similar to EU though. Actually, GU's different. GU's had exhaustion at the resistance and you're wiping it out. GU looks good.
So I'm just waiting for the new one. Also, EJ looks a little bit good also.
Yeah. Just quickly, they've had so it's London Open. This candle's closed too strong of a bullish candle for any impulse sells. Obviously not a buy because it below the resistance. You've got this wick to cover as well. There's nothing for me on gold right now. GJ, look at that. So perfect exit, absolutely perfect, spot on. Bounced all the way back up to that resistance within the same candle. So nothing on GJ as well. EJ, yeah, it's just only thing is below that resistance still. So you're looking at on the hourly, are you? Or
yeah, on the hourly, EJ didn't close as I would have loved it to. I would have loved it to close like really strong bullish.
yeah, I agree.
It rejected again.
Yeah,
So
rejected right at the end by the looks of it.
GU is forming currently a very nice lower wick. So
Yeah,
let's see
GU
what
looks
happens.
good. Not a great deal of margin, but I suppose you could manage it.
Yeah, but I do think the structure kind of failed me a little bit because there was really a good opportunity on the 2 hour earlier, but I didn't take it based on the structure because it's kind of like
just
I
here.
still consider it
Yeah.
that one. But wait, it just closed at this support here to the left, so I was very skeptical about it.
About rejecting this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean, but I mean, for me, what I see is the fact that it's wiped through that on the way down. So now it's sort of, this becomes the new range, if you know what I mean, in my opinion. That support and that resistance. It doesn't mean you don't totally ignore that. But to me, I'd still, if I was trading off the 2 hour, which I obviously don't, and I was looking at that as my catalyst, which would be a catalyst I definitely consider on a 30-minute, bullish engulfing as lower low, higher high, and it's engulfing, so it suggests it's a bit of a liquidity grab from the downside. Then on the 30, if that presented, I'd be looking for the buy, but basically.
Yeah, but the reason I didn't also look at that much was because I considered the structure like still bearish. So
Yeah, okay, that's true.
yeah,
It is bearish
even though
from here.
yeah, so I was
Yeah,
like, it
that's
was a really conflicting one, and when I
yeah.
get like conflicting ideas in my mind, I just
I
rather
get
stay
you.
away from it.
I get you. Plus, you got the weekly very strong bearish previous candle, current dailies low high low low to that liquidity grab candle. So yeah, I can totally understand why you didn't take it, to be honest. Oh, GU broke and it's flipping back.
Yeah, actually, the buys are not, if it's not really spot on, I won't take it because I still prefer selling it.
Yeah, I think Franco had the same before.
I actually tried to post analysis on GU earlier in the group, but my Discord kind of froze, so
Yeah,
I
oh,
saw
okay.
only the EJ analysis came through.
Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, I got your EJ analysis. Yeah, so that for me that's pretty much what I'd be looking at. What I would have been looking at. Very similar to I think what I originally had marked up on GJ as well. There's just pullbacks for some support, let it form a bit of structure, create that higher low, and then look for the buy option. I think that'd be a good idea as well. How was that exit? Absolutely spot on. Sorry, Belas and Michael. Good to see you guys. Bought it. I completely forgot to check the Zoom chat. EU as well, potentially now forming a bit of a pause. That's, in my opinion, good. Now, what I want to see is for it to remain above this resistance, though. So if you were talking about the 15, were you talking about for a sell or? I'm assuming you were talking about for a sell, but I didn't take it. Yeah. And it's interesting to see that in the end, again, in my opinion, was no longer valid once you had this strong closure of that bullish candle. But in the end, the limit order would have worked. Would have sat through a fair bit of drawdown though. Let's just measure it. And I always say to my guys, it's good even if you didn't take a trade and it may not tick the box because of some, like it was an entry that you had set, but something happened and invalid, made the trade invalid. Good just to see how it would have gone either way and take note of it. So in this case, let's do that again. You would have had about 15 pip drawdown. So to be honest, I will not felt comfortable. So I felt it's a good reason to remove the order, as this candle was, first of all, it broke the low, but also when it was about to close strong bullish. When it comes towards the end of the 15-minute candle, in this instance, that's where I begin to doubt the limit order, just in case the new candle creates a low wick, breaks the high, and we end up back at the resistance. But in hindsight, it would have worked, but you would have had to have, sat through a fair bit of drawdown. Rick, but I was thinking about sell on the break of its own low. You mean before? Or you're talking about now? Before, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, the only issue is there's not a great deal of margin by the looks of it. Yeah. I'm not sure how this candle opened, if it popped down a little bit first. If that was the case, then what you would have had is even less margin. So based off that low of that candle, you would have had about 14.5, 15 pips. GJ for the time, but I think we did really well to squeeze a trade out of that, to be honest, because now it's just the more data it prints within this range, the more difficult it becomes to trading. And then at that point there, really what you got to do is just wait for it to either drop below support or pop above the resistance. Joke, do you argue gold sells below 27.36 area? This support, yeah, that was something I would have been considering. But for me, this candle closed a little bit too strong, so impulse entries aren't valid. Once again, we can use the fib. It's closed just above the 50%. So simple, just following my rules. If it closes above 50, it's definitely not valid on the impulse. So if this candle closed now below the body minimum, preferably close to low or below to low, then it would become valid. And this is another instance I can use the fib as well, which all the members will obviously hear in more detail later on. Close below, yes, yeah, that's ideal. The only things you got to consider is stop loss and do you have the margin, because if it does close below, closing below doesn't mean it's just going to close like just a pip or two below. Closing below, it may close 10 pips or 15 pips below. If that's the case, then you can have the margin. So at the moment, yes, you got around 34 pips or so, but it all would just depends where the catalyst candle closes, how far below. Quickly look at GCAD. So it's at resistance. So this is what I want to see in this situation. Like I mentioned before, all this is absolute trash. It's just not tradable. So what you really need is price to start making clean moves. And what we've done is made a clean move to the upside. So now you can begin to potentially look for a catalyst from this level for a sell option, in my opinion. Now that catalyst, let's just quickly look at it. 15, you got a bit of support. It's not going to be easy based on the 15. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one still. I mean, it looks better on the 30, but the fact of the matter is you got some minor support in the 15. And what other pairs could we potentially pick up? GCAD was one I used to trade all the time, but since I started looking at it again, it doesn't appear to have the same volume. GA was one I used to trade. This one tends to shift quite a lot. It does have quite a lot of volume. I'm not sure if excuse me. Not sure if Mr. Phil, I'm not sure if you still trade GA. I know you used to. I'm not sure if you still do now though. this is one that does have a bit. Sorry,
I
mate.
don't do it. It shifts quite a lot.
Yeah, it does.
It's not consistent on the trends.
Yeah, it does have a fair bit of volume. That's what I remember. To be honest, I remember it being not too dissimilar to gold, but a little bit more unpredictable. That, you know, as funny as it sounds, what I used to often find was when back in the old group, those who remember, and we're calling signals. Excuse me. 1 second, guys. And GA was a pair that I would look at a little bit, and what I would often see was that it would skip 3-4 pips. Like literally, it'd be at 520 and all of a sudden it's at 480, and then pops back up. And I'm not sure if it's due to a lack of liquidity in this pair. I'm not sure. But yeah, I found it just a little bit, very volatile actually, not a little bit. And we can see there's a fair few gaps here. This is a wonder. I mean, EJ is a good one, but the thing is EJ often follows GJ. Not always, but for the most part it does look very similar. So I don't feel there's much point trading two yen pairs. I mean, GU, for me, it's just a little bit too slow. I mean, less is more in this game. That's the fact of the matter. Yeah, so this range on GJ is becoming untradeable just now.
So if the current 1 hour candle goes back up to break its own high on GU, I'm going to take it.
Yep, I like that. Yeah, it's pretty solid. You've had a bit of a minor pause on a 15 as well. Pretty clean once you break above that candle's high. Yeah, I think that's pretty solid entry point. And where's your stop loss? Below previous hourly or the current candle? Or
Stop loss would have to be below the current candle.
yeah, that's fair enough.
At least once it breaks its high, it shouldn't have a reason to come back to break that low again.
Yeah, correct. I agree. So it's about, once you count for spread, maybe a 10-11 pip stop loss. So that's fine on GU. That clock time is wrong, isn't it, guys? I don't even know how to change it, to be honest. That's code that I got from somewhere. I'll just hide it for the time being. Once again, just quickly guys, for those who are not in the free Discord, make sure to join, and I will be giving away a free VIP to who the most active person. There's no one active at the moment, so it's up for grabs. I'm trying. I sent in some analysis earlier. I've asked the question daily if there's any questions or how did everyone go. So all we need to do is just reply, just a simple reply. Just get involved a little bit, and the most active person over the next few weeks will get access to the VIP. So for me, it's a no-brainer, to be honest. There's over 85 educational videos. There'd be more. There's probably around 90 now, to be honest. So for me, it'd be an absolute no-brainer. Gold? Yes, there's nothing on gold right now, to be honest. Rick, just get involved, mate. I mean, all you have to do is type 1 or 2 messages. At the moment, you're the favorite, so. And if anyone otherwise is interested in VIP, there's a code pinned to the top of this chat that you guys can use for a discount rate. So I love this shit. This is, I don't know what they call it from Thailand though. Pretty potent stuff, pretty strong. It's supposed to help with dizziness and all that, but I just like the smell of it. So all right, GJ once again trying to pop back up, but still rejecting. There is nothing. There'd be no sell if this candle closed weak bullish. Sorry, I would not entertain the sells. I don't like that wick in that previous candle, and it's becoming a little more choppy this current range. So I'd be just waiting for clean moves within it to maybe open up to trading again. Otherwise, like I mentioned before, closures above or below for options yet again. Actually, I'll pin a link to the Discord. I'll send it into the chat. One moment, guys. Oh, I didn't realize I was logged into my personal YouTube account. Alright, hold on. There we go, guys. So if you're not already joined, just click on that link and just get involved. Start engaging in chat, ask questions, send in charts, share some opinions, some thoughts on the markets, things like that. And there's, I mean, a section for crypto stocks, which no one uses, but you're more than welcome to. So get involved, guys. Once again, I will give away a free VIP to the most active person over the next couple of weeks. Probably around the 20th of November, I'd say, a bit cutoff. Luke. Hey Justin, will you mark in the previous candle support now, or when should you? Yep, that's good. Yep, you can definitely start doing that for sure. And that is now your range within the range, if that makes sense. That's the 4-hour support. There's your 30 resistance. There's a 4-hour resistance up here. So by all means. And now what we have is the options are price made a clean move up for a potential rejection to sell it. If it made a clean move down, as long as you got the margin, potential bounce off that support, look for your catalyst to potentially buy it. And if price was to pop below the most recent support, get back below some of this resistance to the left as well, so long as you got the margin. Like I said before, the reality is that you probably won't either way, because this candle may close a little bit too far below eating into margin. But if you have the margin, then it would make sense to look for the potential sells below it. Once again, it would be a 30-minute structure. Be against the 4-hour candle probabilities, but however, if it was to happen within the current 4-hour, then we have a high low, higher high. There is not much need for it to pull back and break its own low. But what I prefer to see in this situation is maybe if it happened on the following 4-hour candle, let's just say this one closed as is, or closed even a weak bearish candle. If perhaps in the new 4-hour we create an upper wick rejecting that resistance, and if you could not get in sells upon the rejection of the resistance, price came back down to the support only to close below it, then I would definitely consider my options to sell it at that point based on the closure below on the new 4-hour candle. Once again, GJ rejecting. Yeah, no way would I consider that sell, because it's just choppy traffic with that long wick bouncing off support. So looking at silver, let's have a look at it against gold. Looks very similar actually, silver at the moment. Heard some staggering numbers about where silver could potentially get to, just based off a ratio of gold to silver ratio. If gold got to such and such number, where silver could potentially get to. Not bad, considering it's my biggest asset of investment is physical silver. So Kitan, good morning to you, hope you're well. Welcome. All right, so we're just under 4 minutes until the first 30-minute closure of London session, and at the moment we're just stuck within ranges. Gold is just printing some choppy price action just now in the 15, consolidating, so there's no confirmation just yet for any further trades in GJ at the moment. Like I said, based off 15 doesn't look all that bad, but to me this range is becoming a bit of a mess. There is no margin to trade within it too. The more data that prints within it, the more difficult it becomes to trade, and looking at the 30, it is very difficult. So I'd be waiting for it to either create some clean moves within this range to open up to trade again, or preferably look for buys above the highs, closures above, and sells below, closures below. Rick, I am in Discord. Nice one. Tommy, good morning to you, mate. Hope you're well. I'm assuming, yeah, you got my message. Yeah, I'll sort it out, mate. I'll sort it all out. All good. Not a worry, mate. So the one good thing about the time changes, guys, is I can be on stream the same time each day. Unlike before, where Tuesdays and Fridays were a slightly later edition. I'll be on stream Monday to Friday from the same time, basically about 15 minutes through. I might start a little bit earlier sometimes, I'm not too sure. So for there to be any potential option right now, in the next minute, gold needs to really fall through the floor. Rick, I asked myself the same thing. Just kidding. Actually, on Saturday at the gym, no, yesterday, I had a guy come up to me and he's looking. I thought he's waiting for the equipment, you know. So I was about to say, oh, I've just got one more set, mate. He goes, Ash? I'm like, huh? No, mate. I wasn't sure if he said act or ash. I'm like, sorry, I think you got the wrong guy. Maybe he said act, who knows? I doubt it, mate. There's 29 people on my stream, so I doubt there'll be anyone, you know, in a Bayside Melbourne gym who knows of me. It's highly unlikely. There could be, but waiting for that day, mate. Waiting for that day where I'm out somewhere and someone says, hey, I know you. I get a photo. Can't see it happening anytime soon. I'll be in Hollywood next year on the red carpet. Oh, mate, do you promise? Oh, mate, just imagine.
EJ looking really...
So, EJ?
Yep.
Yeah, it does. EJ looks pretty good. That's a strong closure. That's a really nice strong closure. It's closed well above the bodies of the candles to the left. 15 doesn't look that bad. Or 4 hour looks a mess. Yeah, EJ looks pretty good. How did EJ close then? Are you considering taking an EJ entry or?
Waiting for the alley.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll look even better on the alley if it did close above, because it's just a bit of a mess as well in the alley. It's just consolidating, so I think you need maybe a bit of a stronger confirmation in this instance. So had it closed above, I feel it would have been a better option, but it does look pretty good otherwise. It's a pretty good catalyst. Excuse me. I'd be happy just to have about 5,000 YouTube subscribers before thinking about any red carpets or anything like that. Got to 1,000 pretty quick, got to 2,000 pretty quick, but it's been a slow slog since. But fair game, I missed a fair portion of time. Alright, so there'll be no impulse entries for me on gold. We're closed above the support, it's breaking just now. Yeah, there'd be nothing, personally. Rick, you got the market cheat code? Not necessarily, it's not, it's just what works for me, my friend, so... I mean, it's taken a lot of time, taken a hell of a lot of time to get to the point where you see some steady results. And I mean, by no means am I, you know, financially free from all this, because I don't, the fact matter is I don't have the outsize at the moment, nor do I, well, obviously I had the funding account, which was scammed away from me. But as most of the prop firms do, so that is what it is. But there'll be times where obviously I have more substantial cash in the game, and Beats Voyager, come to Amsterdam and you will be recognized. Come with a bodyguard. Why people after me? I love Amsterdam, man. I've been one time. Would love to come back. See, this was my concern on gold, that closures below it may make it a move prior to it and may not have the margin, to be honest. I know 10% stream is Dutch. Really? Not sure by the analytics. Actually, Russia was one that I think the highest of late, which I found, I mean, fantastic. It's great to have anyone, but I found that quite surprising, to be honest. UK from time to time is obviously number one. India, which is not really a surprise, there is a lot of traders out of India as well. And Australia comes in usually around 4th or 5th. Daniel, do you have a day job or doing trading full time? I've got a business with my family. Which, I mean, had it since I've been around, so that takes up time as well. But that's I concentrate more on that during the Friday to Sunday, so 3 days. But I do get involved over Tuesday as well. So it does keep me busy, but yeah, I mean, I have done training full time. I still consider myself a full-time trader because I trade the same session each day, same time. But if you're asking me financially, could I sustain it right now? Probably not. Just off the back of trading, because the fact of the matter is the account's not big enough right now. It's been in the past, but I've paid for things. It's helped me to first of all to put money down on a house. It's helped me to repair a money pit of a house as well. And it's always good to have another income, I feel, because then it takes the stress out of it. The thing is, there's nothing wrong with full-time trading, don't get me wrong, but if you feel like you need a trade in order to make an income, that's when you might start making mistakes and start trading based on emotions and a need, as opposed to following your rules. So for me right now, for instance, I may have taken this trade had I needed to trade, and yes, it would have worked, but a lot of time I see in this situation where we've closed above the support, where price will do this, you're feeling good about it, you're 4 or 5 pips up because you got a random just a sell stop at low, and all of a sudden G flips and we end up closing back above, and you're feeling bad about it, all because of the emotion and all because you felt like you justified by taking a trade. You need to take a trade because it's your income and it's your job. If you don't take a trade, then you feel bad about it. So it's all part of it, to be honest. So I feel it's good to have something in the background, because then you understand it's a no trade day, it's fine, it's a no trade day, nothing ticked the box. Today we got a good option on GJ early and we pounced on that sell, which literally tapped in the target and then bounced back up. So it was a good start to the week. Rick, at least 10%. I think it did Brandon mention at some point, but I can't remember how much percent. But then again, free viewers at the moment is 10%, so it doesn't really take much. Cody, but good day, mate. Hope you're well. Gonna be a 15-minute. Yeah, I doubt it, because the issue is it's likely on attacking a target. It looks like it could make the move right now down that support. So if it doesn't tap into there and it doesn't close more than about 25 pips below, or if it closed, it's 35 pips is from the low point, that bullish candle, down to the target. And at this rate, it looks like it's going to tap into target, so that means there'll be no entry. So hopefully that answers the question, mate. So yeah, it's just tapping the target. So for me, that's it. So now, the only option on gold personally would be to wait for the buy. So what I'd be doing is, in the next 21 minutes, I'd just remove this zone if it did close back into low. And now this is your range again. I'll just do it now anyway. Oh, good, Joe, no worries. We are too, and there is another one. Likely. And GJ right now is just a bit of a mess. The gray zone. Best 4 hour. Does that make sense? To the lowest point of that bullish candle. Yeah, so that's the gray zone. And I've kept it in a bit deeper if I was to. I mean, you could do that. I understand, because that's the lowest point of the zone on the 30. But the 4 hour is a more significant level, the higher time frame. It is tapping into it and bouncing off it just now. All right, so gold now at that support. Needs to just wait and see how price reacts to it. EJ rejecting, and has GU not broken its own high. So yeah, GU is pulling back a bit. What's your plan now, Mr. Phil, on GU? Are you gonna wait for Put his accounts closed now. Must be busy. Choppy price action at the moment. Nothing going on. Excuse me. Rick, morning, but we got a good trade. Yeah, that's it, mate. I'm happy with pouring and being, you know, consistent and profitable, and we did get a good early trade. So, I mean, JJ looks like it's coming back down to that support yet again. But it's just a bit choppy right now. It's a bit difficult. It's actually fun. That's good, mate. That's, I mean, it's boring. Trading is bloody boring, isn't it? But it's always good to have a community to be involved in, and I'm not saying, you know, to join VIP. I mean, it's fantastic if you guys want to, but what I mean by that is if you follow along on stream and just be part of the stream, communicate on the stream within the chat, that's, you know, I really appreciate that. If nothing else, to be honest, that'd be, you know, I feel it's a good place to hang out, and we learn a thing or two at the same time, especially about patience and discipline, and looking for the right moment to get involved in a trade. And it can be frustrating sometimes because, you know, I'm not afraid to sit here and not take a trade. You guys know that. But if it's there to be taken, it's a quality entry, and you guys also know the likelihood of it being a good trade. So I just stick to doing what I do best because I know the results will generally follow, and that's all I can say to anyone else out there. Don't worry about needing to find a trade, just wait for it to come to you. That's it. You do your analysis, you have your plan of attack, and then as soon as it comes towards you, create some rules that you know are solid rules that generally work for you, and just stick to it, and that's it. Winning together is more fun, right? Exactly. I agree. All right, this is, again, like I mentioned before, I always tell my guys, take note of these sort of things. Look what happened when price taps into the 4-hour support. That's why I kept the 4-hour level win. It's bounced off it. You would have got 10 plus pips, 20 pips by the looks of it. What it does is give me fuel to maybe to look towards over maybe even a Christmas break coming up in a, you know, in a month and a half time roughly. Test out these sort of entries. Maybe, you know, you guys have seen me, those who follow me across from the old stream have seen me adapt and got a few new entry types. Maybe this will be another one I add to it moving forward. Who knows? Who knows? But what you can do is screenshot it. Look what happened when price taps into a 4-hour level. Save it into a folder on your computer or whatever, laptop. Keep it there. Keep an eye on it. See how often it happens. Gather data. Gather 20, 30, 40 charts. And how often would have hit, you know, TP1, for instance? It's not that difficult to do while you're on the chart. That's all you do. It might not be an entry type just now, but it could be moving forward. You don't know. Joe, yeah, that's it. Exactly it. I mean, also, obviously, it does help to back test a bit at times. And that's what we do with the group on Sundays. I mean, when I was away, it wasn't the last few weeks. I didn't jump on, so I didn't have access. I was on the laptop. But otherwise, pretty much every Sunday, we jump on for a sim session. Beats, where does everyone come from? That's a good question. Where does everyone come from? I'm not expecting too many answers, but it would be good if there were a few replies. So, you two from Holland, England, Wales, Ryan. That is good to see a new name in the chat. Welcome, mate. Yep, Luke. I'll have to have a catch up sometime, mate. Be good. Just trying to find the time. That's the issue. Daniel, hungry? Oh, okay, nice one. Never realized we had a Hungarian in the chat, so welcome. I used to have a good mate. I used to, believe it or not, when I was all of 12, I used to have my own basketball card business, NBA. I used to love it. That's why I got passionate about NBA, and I still love NBA to today. And mate, I was making good cash for a 12-year-old kid. On average, around $200-300 a week, and that's profit. I was a businessman from a little tacker. Bought myself a TV, bought myself a Super Nintendo back in the day. Can't remember what I did with the rest, but obviously I didn't do very much with it. Alright, so it's at gold, is at support. Nothing for me right now on gold. Needs to wait for some sort of confirmation. Good thing is it's made a pretty clear move down, which is that's alright, because it opens up this range yet again to possible entries. And obviously buying it from lower down, you have more margin. You got the weekly and the daily to the upside. So based on the higher time frames, I mean, you can still potentially look for the buyers, even though it's against the 30-minute structure itself. And GJ right now, like I said, it's a mess within this range. So we did well to get the early sell, but right now what needs to be done is needs to either make a clean move through this zone, this range, sorry, reject for any sort of potential sell entries back from the highs yet again, like so, or pop up. Nice clean move back down, up through that mess yet again, form support for potential buy options. Otherwise, the best options, like I mentioned before, above resistance, below support. That's it. And seeing it's just consolidating, you really need to wait for, in my opinion, closures above or closures below. That's the safest option right now on GJ. Yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm gonna jump on a call with the members in probably about 20 to 30 minutes from now. So yeah, so I think that's about a wrap, guys. Well done today. Good start to a new week. I appreciate all the support. If you have not done so, make sure to hit like button on the way out. Like I mentioned before, the link is further into the chat. For anyone who hasn't joined a free Discord group, I will be giving away a free VIP subscription to the most active person over the next few weeks. So just get involved, say good day in the chat, in the community chat, share some ideas, ask questions, send some charts if you want to do so, and you'll be the winner. That's all it takes. In the meantime, guys, if you'd like to know any more about the VIP or any of the other services, private coaching or anything, all that you can find down below in the description. So otherwise, feel free to say g'day to me. I always respond to any questions. If you just say hello, if you appreciate the stream and you're showing some support, I appreciate you. So do feel free to say g'day on IG. Make sure to give me a follow. And TikTok, it's a new account, so I've got like 5 followers at the moment. So if you're on TikTok, give me a follow. The old account got banned, unfortunately. But yeah, that's a wrap, guys. Tomorrow I'll see you then. We'll be on from about the same time, so 4:45 AM UK time. Till then, my friends, take care, trade safe.
Thank you, man.
And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers, guys, members. See you later.